yeah, I don't try to convince anybody of anything. I'm just like, I know what I'm worth. And if I haven't been able to present that correctly, then I don't know.
So in terms of just so I understand, like in terms of your kind of sales process and when you're getting the objections, like what does that look like?
Well, I've never actually had a real objection, but like in just because the people that I've worked with have just wanted to work with me before I ever did a sales call.
Mhm.
But I haven't worked with like that many people, you know? Like if I was trying to sell to a lot of people, I'm sure there would be objections. Um so I'm not I'm trying to think of the last fake objection that I heard. I was coaching a friend and trying to sell her like one of my coaching packages, and she said something like what was it? Oh, well, we kind of worked through that. She was saying something like, "Well, how do I know if I'm going to have the time for this? How do I know?" Something to that effect. I
Yeah.
I haven't really worked on my sales in general. I'm really kind of flimsy with sales anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's good. Have in terms of like sales experience, have you ever really done much at all, or are you kind of pretty new to it?
I did really good with sales in my other businesses. I had a few businesses, like a painting business. People loved the crap out of me, but it was a lot more simple. And I
Yeah.
also had an art gallery for over 20 years, and I did really
Wow.
well with sales in my art gallery um, because you're selling a product that is like it's a finished product. They spend the money, they walk away with the product, they get an emotional high, they're really happy. But when you're selling coaching, you're selling to somebody that they need to spend their time and their money and their commitment to work through, whatever their issues are in life.
Yeah.
And it's a completely another level of sales. Like there's a lot more to that.
Yeah, you're selling more of like a transformation as opposed to just like selling like something physical to them. A lot of times with that, so like what you're referencing with your friend, where she said, "I don't know, I've the time," and that kind of stuff. That's kind of the sort of thing you'd want to kind of unpick in like the first part of the call,
Yeah.
discovery. I think the
Mhm.
thing that will work really well for you in your favor is you're a very like friendly person. So when
Say
people join I said one thing that will work in your favor when people join calls with you is you're very friendly, like you're very kind of upbeat. So people won't kind of think, oh, this is like a sales call. Where if you join with like
I'm too
different,
nice. I'm too
yeah,
nice. That's
that
the
can work
problem.
really well. Because I think in the way that you're kind of selling, what you basically just need is like a simple structure of in
Yeah.
terms of understanding first of all, like why are you actually having the call? Like why did the person want to speak to you? What are they struggling with? And then when you get back to like the end of the call where they're saying, "Oh, I don't know if I've got the time and stuff," you can then repeat back to them what they've already told you.
I've got all that,
Yeah,
but what I haven't learned yet is to pre-handle the objections and like make them sell themselves, which I believe is really the right way to sell coaching. Like it shouldn't be about me asking them what their problems are and why they weren't able to solve it on their own. What I should be doing is learning how to address the objections by allowing them to tell me um, why they need to spend their time like
yeah,
on their health, on their mindset. But I think the reason why that they're not naturally doing that is because I'm not very good at presenting my offer, like clearly articulating to somebody what my offer is. Like they see me, they feel me, they want me, but when it comes to me explaining what my offer is, I feel
yeah.
it's like really kind of I get fuzzy and I get yeah, I get kind of fuzzy because what I was really trained in was like with Tony Robbins and a couple of other master coaches. It has to do with like connecting with your life purpose and your
Mhm.
spiritual identity. So how do you package something like that? You have to like really be specific, I think, on the who's your audience. And the thing is, I combine that with biohacking and anti-aging protocols because I don't look like it, but I'm almost 55. I look like I'm 25. I still have 25-year-olds hitting on me, and my body is phenomenal. Like, and it's because I combine the art of connecting with your higher self, your identity, your purpose, and connecting that with your health and your vitality biologically, because if you don't have your vitality and your health, I don't care what your
Yeah.
purpose and your mission is. It's not going to be as fun or as amazing to just everything you do, whether it's playing with your grandkids or whatever. So the problem is I'm coming a lot from my own experience of coming out of a wheelchair, being told I was going to die and there was no cure, and me saying, "Yeah, right, whatever. That's your story, not mine. Goodbye
Yeah.
now." And it's almost like I feel like some people are really truly ready for change in their life, but the people who are kind of on the fence about whether they truly want change haven't really mastered the pitch of like, allowing them to discover that with to such a level that they're talking themselves into the sale. Like that they're telling me why they need the coaching, which is what I expect from people because I'm a really good coach. And I don't
Yeah.
want to waste my time with people who aren't committed. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I mean, like, it's a incredible backstory you've got as well. I mean, in terms of selling it, like the fact that you've kind
Mhm.
of done it yourself is always the best
That
case.
helps. Yeah.
Um, I mean, in terms of your offer, like say for example, we're on a sales call now, like what would you say? How would you present it?
It really depends on what you're specifically needing and looking for. So, like for example, if you go to my about page, you'll see like one of my clients, he lost 65 pounds, got rid of his beer belly, quit all his addictive behaviors, got rid of diabetes. So that was kind of like the focus that he was needing was to recreate his identity and his purpose in life and how he connects to the parts of his life. But then, another person, she just needed confidence with her ability to become a coach. So I can
Mhm.
do like a wide spectrum, and that's part of the reason why I'm sort of having a struggle because I just find out what that person actually needs themselves, like what they're really passionate about in their life that they're not living up to, so that they can feel better about engaging in that journey. So it just depends, but the I bring in the biohacking as a part of the daily lifestyle to create a synchronicity with mind, body, and spirit so that whatever it is you're approaching, you're going to approach it from a much better place.
That makes sense. I guess then in terms of when you like have your sales calls and stuff, it's kind of a case by case then of what you would present to people. So you don't have the same offer for every person, if I've understood that correctly.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like articulate specific offers for specific needs. Like I've noticed there's a lot of people in midlife area that especially men who really want to get their health and their vitality back. So that's one thing I can like I could create like a more specific offer around that I probably should do.
Mhm.
And then I have like little packages like you can get a ending procrastination package or life purpose challenge or like um from what is it? Gosh, I forgot. It's like a health and vitality and weight loss package. Forgot the name of it right now, but yeah, so I'm trying to create separate packages that I can offer to people with specific needs. Also, like if someone's dealing with menopause, I have really good experience of getting through that without almost no problems, and there's just a variety of things that are possible. You know, I'm good at helping coaches become more confident in their coaching journey, but I haven't like really honed um, expertise in a certain like packaging things very well.
Yeah, I think kind of a blessing and a curse for you really is that you can help people with so many different things. So it's harder to then have like one core offer. I guess out of all the things that you can kind of help people with, like what is the thing that you enjoy helping them with the most? Like what is the thing you'd want to spend the most time on?
Well, and that's why the my coaching is so effective because it's a whole package. It's not just one specific piece. Um, so, but like I've kind of narrowed it down to like anti-aging, biohacking, combined with it's not exactly manifestation, but it's something above manifestation. It's optimizing your energy frequency in such a way that your body and your mind and everything is coherent, and your
Mhm.
spirit especially, because most of the battles that people fight are at the base level. They're spiritual battles. So that's kind of the best I've got in terms of like specifics. If you were to look at my about page, you would see like a lot of the specific things that people have experienced, like more confidence, more clarity, more streamlined lifestyle. You could lose weight a lot easier. You can get rid of depression and anxiety a lot easier. It's kind of a whole package thing, but it's a lot of it is based around health.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think just looking at your about page now, like I think yeah, you've kind of laid it out quite clearly. In terms of like the people that you've worked with so far, do you tend to help like a certain profile of person, or does that tend to vary as well?
I'm trying to figure it out because yeah, I haven't done any advertising at all. So I just people will ask me about my coaching, and depending on what they're dealing with, I can customize a plan, help them customize a plan because the essential oils are extremely powerful in various areas of health, including mental, emotional stuff. And yeah, so you know, depending on what that person's dealing with, it's just because I've been through so much stuff myself.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then I just apply the mindset and the biohacking to that person's specific needs. And that's kind of where I don't know, like I was saying, the closest thing I've gotten right now is kind of like midlife crisis. Like it seems like there's a lot of people that are kind of in a midlife crisis type thing that are really motivated by what I have. They like the results I have. They like the proof, the evidence I have, and they just want to know like how they can get there.
Yeah, I think sorry, I'm just reading through the about page. I like as well that you've got the 7-day challenge. What I'm kind of wondering is, I know because obviously you've got like the package element, is like, are there kind of a couple of things that you could kind of lead with which would apply to everyone, and then the additional things that you have are more of like a bonus to people, which like, oh, I got a good deal because not only did I get that, I also get this stuff as well. So it'll then help you simplify actually being able to explain what it is, and then you can drop at the end of the call or email or however you do it, like, or I also do all this stuff as well included in the thing you've signed up for.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely, because there's a lot of biohacking techniques in here that are extremely valuable. But the one biggest thing is the essential oils,
Okay.
because they have a beneficial effect throughout the entire body.
Mhm.
So it basically will compound any other problem that you're trying to overcome. It's going to benefit that. And so the essential oils would be, how did you put it? Like one thing that you can offer. How did you say
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so basically, if you have like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 things that you can lead with, and then
Uh-huh.
the other stuff that you kinda cover, rather than having that as like the primary offer, you can then say, "Oh, by the way, along with that stuff, we can also look at this, and this. This is included." Because then in terms of kind of adding value to your offer as well, people think, "Oh, like, not only do I get this, I also got all of this stuff as well, like, what a great deal."
Yeah.
Um, Rather than you trying to articulate that which like is a like you said, you've done a lot of stuff, you've recovered from a lot of things, you have a lot of things you can help with, but by kind of explaining all of that, I could see how it could be potentially overwhelming to people who
Yeah.
have kind of been hit with a load of stuff. So I'd probably look to pick one, two, three things you can go with, but then say, oh, by the way, included in this, you also get this, this, this. Again, optional, but if you want it, it's there. And then in that regard, then you've then got like a pretty comprehensive offer, but it's easier for you to explain to the person what it is that they get.
Well, one of the things I've noticed that's excellent, and I hope I can yes, I agree. That would be
This
a
is
really good
recorded, by the
way.
way, so I can send you the recording as well.
Okay. Um, I am taking notes, but now that we're talking about it, I mean, it kind of seems like the one thing that a lot of people tend to be drawn to me about is like men who want to lose weight, and get that fit. I've got like a really like fit, flat tone, six pack type of belly and really good muscle definition and all that. And I managed to create that lifestyle and actually make it easy. And that's one thing I think that I might be able to focus on. But
I'm wondering after you said it, like you could sell the lifestyle, like rather than, for example, trying to sell the components of what gets you the lifestyle, sell the lifestyle, and then the transformation is taking them through the steps that you took to get to that point.
yeah,
Because I mean, if you're selling things like essential oils and that kind of stuff, like the way I would see them, obviously with limited knowledge about that stuff, would see it as the inputs to the outcome that they want. Where the outcome they want is the lifestyle that you've got. So I'd probably start there.
right. It's true. Very true. Well, so that's how my community is set up is like a mindset and lifestyle type community. And it's just like blah, like a pancake. Like here's all this stuff, and there's no real clear um, focus or pathway on one specific outcome because
Yeah,
there's so many outcomes you could get with the lifestyle. So, I mean, that the outcome to me is joy, it's freedom, it's vitality, it's being in control of your own destiny, it's knowing that you're not a slave to a system that's not designed to help you. It's becoming a creator and knowing that you have the ability within yourself to like literally create anything in life. That's
yeah,
ultimately what it's about. But how do you sell? How do you do a sales call about that? It's that's only for a certain very select percentage of the population that's gotten to that point that they're ready to like create the lifestyle, and the pain points that would bring those people in are usually going to be either relationship issues, health issues, or something, along those lines. And so health is just the most obvious one for me because that's what I've really studied a lot for the last 30 years.
yeah. I think I would lead with health just because it's also easier to kind of explain to people, and
Yeah.
then part of that process, you can then say, look, like a side effect of this, or like another bonus of doing this, is that you'll also get the freedom. You can break free from the
Yeah.
system, all of this as well. Because I guess in most things, like in life, health is kind of the baseline to the majority of
Absolutely.
things.
And that's what I do, but when it comes to, like, people's objections, like, maybe they're not sure about the time commitment, or maybe it's the money commitment, or maybe it's I'm not even sure actually what their objections might be, to be honest, like, um,
Yeah,
specifically. It could just be they're not ready to go to that level of commitment. I don't know, like, I'm not advertising anymore, and I got kicked off Facebook, so I'm kind of like
yeah.
like
I wonder if, so in terms of like booking your actual sales calls, was that just from ads then, or do you do any outreach, or how does that look?
I didn't do any actual ads, like, in terms of selling my coaching, but, it was just people that knew me through Facebook who really like what I'm about, and they like everything about my lifestyle, my mindset, and they're really, like, wanting to get to that point in their own lives, but I didn't know how to sell it to them. I didn't know how to package it and present an offer. So they would ask me, like, what tell me more about your coaching. I want to do this. And then I would just work with the people who ask me about it mainly. Um, Occasionally, like if I was selling oils, I would meet people who needed my coaching and I would say, hey, yeah, I'd love to help you. But I was always afraid to give them the price because I'm afraid if they're already sick and they're already really hurting, I hate to like charge, you know, the money that I need to be getting. It's like,
I
so now
guess
I was thinking about creating smaller, unique packages for specific things. And I'm not sure what the objections really are, you know?
yeah, I think based off kind of just what you've told me, like the main objection people would likely have is just like the lack of clarity around what it is. But I think what you said there in terms of putting it into a bundle, if you could figure out how long it typically takes you or takes people to start seeing results from what it is that you're selling, you could bundle it into some form of transformation package as to
Oh,
in
yeah.
30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days, however long it takes.
Uh-huh.
These are the kind of things you would start to expect. And then when people are saying, oh, like, what does it do? That's when you can say, oh, the essential oils, when we do this, we do that. That's all part of this transformation process. So I'd lead with like the timeline and what it is that you're doing. And then let them, like, when they ask about the other stuff, that's more of a component of the transformation you're delivering for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really good advice because last night I was talking to someone who is a potential buyer and
Okay.
I was asking him, so what all would you want in a coaching package and how much would you be willing to pay? Because he's like, pretty fairly fit, but he's got a little bit belly fat that he wants to lose. And he wants to be that super hottie that he used to be, 5 or 10 years ago. And I think if I had been able to
Being able to
articulate a timeline to him and what results he would get, he would have wanted to know more about my coaching because he was definitely interested just by looking at me. Like if I was to take my
yeah.
shirt off, you would know instantly, like, wow, okay, this chick is not playing. um, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the things I would look to cover off in your offer are timeline, timeline to results, how much is expected of the person, like how many hours a day or how long does it take them to actually get to that desired outcome. Any form of yeah, like if you can kind of put together, especially with something like this, kind of like a roadmap or like a transformation
yeah,
plan as to like by week one we'll be here, week two, week three,
right,
etc.
right, right.
I think what
Yes,
you said as well about like the you don't want to kind of like prey on people that are ill, but I guess the way I would probably look at it is like how much would that person pay to not have that problem anymore?
for real. Yeah, it's worth so much more than what I'm charging because you get your life back. You
Yes,
know,
especially if you've got the proof of yourself and other people you've helped, you can be like, look, like it costs this because I obviously need to make money from this, but like, what would you pay to not have this problem anymore? I reckon a lot of people would pay a significant amount of money to no longer have any health issues or anything like that. So I guess it just the way that the thing I would probably focus on is just more around the packaging, and then once you have like the packaging and kind of the way that you would explain it to someone kind of sorted out, then I would look at or what objections am I getting. But I would guess based off how this works and the people you're speaking to sound like they're a fit. Like more often than not, if they actually understand what it is and how you're selling it, you probably won't get too many objections if they know that they're going to
right?
get the desired outcome that they want.
That's true. Yeah. That's kind of what I've experienced is like they see me, they hear a little bit about my story and they're like, "Okay, I want to do that." And then I don't know how to get through all the details of it. And there are legal issues because you're not allowed to say even though there's clinical studies that show that, the natural plant compounds do have certain effects,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to say that or even imply now that it might take away a particular problem, which even though the clinical studies show that, like certain things are really good against for balancing hormones, for balancing blood sugar, for elevating your mood, stabilizing your brain waves, like that's real. But if you were to say to someone like, I would say this one has really helped me overcome depression. It just is
Yeah.
amazing how much it helps. And But if you say things like that, specifically like what it does, it can be like a legal gray area. So that's where I have a lot of problem with that, because I know for a fact that functional medicine works, and I know for a fact that you typically don't need pharmaceutical synthetic drugs. But just saying that alone can be extremely offensive to some people. They're so brainwashed and they don't know that the drug cartels are owned by the Rockefellers. This is not something that was created by good people with good intentions. It was created by people who want have a business model based around maintaining the illness and
Yeah.
based around people being sick and buying more drugs. It's not based around restoring health. And if you even say something like that to people, they start a lot of people will start freaking out on you. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I'm wondering then if rather than you kind of sell specifics in terms of that and all that kind of stuff, if you kind of sell like the emotion or the feeling of doing it. So like you mentioned, for example, you have the freedom, you have the power to kind of create what you want to do. I would maybe focus on like those emotions as like the transformation that once you've gone
Yeah,
through the process, you'll not only have your vitality back, but you'll have the freedom to do X, Y, Z.
yeah.
And then you can avoid the legal trouble.
Well,
Um,
I do that, but then if like for example, if you're working with someone, they have diabetes issues, they can start using cinnamon oil and get immediate, like profound benefits with that. So
yeah.
you have to at least be able to say specifically, like this particular essential oil has been found to be very useful for this particular illness, and
Mhm.
I would recommend doing that. Um, so
I
there's
wonder.
like a trust issue there, a little bit. But if I'm not leading with that, and yet I need to be specific in my offer, it just seems like selling the emotion, I think, is part of the problem, because then they want to know what kind of specific things they're going to get from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the medicinal stuff is, like I said, is tricky because I don't know if there's a way around that, but, if you like I say, if you don't really lead with that, but you say, like, "That's something we can look at," and I guess if you give people the choice whether or not they want to do that,
Right.
and it's say,
Yeah.
like, "Look, like, I have this knowledge, I have this experience, I've done this before, these are the results we saw," like, it's completely up to you if you wanna do that, we don't have to, we can focus on the other stuff, but, that is there as well. Because then I guess you're not really selling people on that. That's just part of your
Right.
offer if they want
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. So I think you just touched on what might be um one of the major objections, is that if someone hasn't received the education about holistic healing, natural health, and you're telling them that yes, you can definitely change your metabolism pretty quickly. You can stabilize, you can get the results that you need from your lifestyle. Then the objection would be, why should I believe you that what you're telling me is really true, other than looking at me or hearing my story? Like, I think that's a question in people's minds, is like, why should I believe you? Even some of my so-called fake friends on school that look at my cover page or read my story, like some of them, like, they don't want to believe that it's true, you know, because they're so conditioned um to think in a limited way, that this idea that you have to stay sick, this idea that you can't actually overcome illnesses, chronic illnesses, like they're
Yeah.
just not educated about that. So I think part of the thing that I have to like be able to overcome in objections would be like knowing how to help them understand maybe better, like
Mhm.
why this is so effective, rather than going the traditional route.
Yeah, I mean, it's kinda hard to say just without you actually getting the objections, but if I was to kind of assume, like, the the majority of the ones you would get around if you're not charging too much money would be more around fear, as opposed to, like, anything else, like, or them thinking it wouldn't work for them, but, I mean, if you've got
Yeah.
examples of people in their situation or like people similar to you, for example, who you're selling to. You can like, look, well, I am the proof. That's why I'm doing this. Um, but I think best thing for you to do really would be to just package all of this together. And then what we can do, I don't know if you saw my post in the community, we're going to do like one-to-one kind of like deal reviews or like offer reviews, however you want to use the call. And
Okay.
if we go through that, we can then kind of look at the specifics of it, and then I'll be able to have a bit of a clearer picture as to like what are people likely going to say to this. So we can also avoid the legal stuff as well. But I think the thing you have is like because you can help with so many different things, it's just finding the thing to lead with and then having the other stuff behind it as like added bonuses for the people. Once you kind of crack that and also target the people or the people you want to work with, for example, I don't think you'll have too much trouble in terms of getting calls and particularly selling it to people, especially if you have yourself as a living proof of what it worked for me. Why wouldn't it work for you?
Right. And that kind of hits on a recent realization of mine, which is like, for example, if I was selling to you, you look like a pretty healthy and fit type of person overall. So you probably already know like enough to where you're confident with your health and
Yeah.
your mindset for the most part. So, but the beauty of all these biohacking and these essential oils and things and the breath work is it ages you in reverse. It ages, and there's an actual scale called the Hume scale that can identify that fact. So
Okay.
rather than saying, "Oh, you're going to get rid of all these illnesses," I could be saying, well, I practice an anti-aging protocol and this is how it works. So if you want to learn how to like take 20 years off of your life biologically and do it with simple daily biohacks that don't take a ton of time and that are actually can be really pleasant experiences, then I have a roadmap for you to get through that. And then allow them to discover that their illnesses are just kind of vanishing because the way the cutting edge science is revealing to us now is that illnesses don't have to come with aging. Those are kind of the effects.
Mhm.
The illnesses are like the effects of an aging body or like an aging cellular health. So if you're restoring your cellular health and as a result it's rejuvenating your hormones, your digestion, your sleep and everything like that, then naturally a lot of the health conditions tend to go away.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So with the scale that you mentioned, is that something that someone could like look at themselves? Uh,
Yes, it's measurable.
you could
Yes.
use that as a lead magnet to get people in.
Mhm.
You could be like, "Oh, I use this scale, and it will tell you X, Y, Z, and then I can help you kind of break down the results and what to do next, or something like that." Because then at least you have like an entry point.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. What I would probably wanna do, possibly yeah, that's definitely something, like, I'm not in an expert level with breaking down people's results, but I know, like, the doctor who trained me with essential oils, he has an expert level team that can address that, so I would almost prefer to refer them to him to get that breakdown. And then I'm just the coach that helps them work through the process of what they need to do to get create that stable lifestyle that is actually working to their benefit. Like they're the experts and then I could be the coach.
Okay.
Cuz people need moral support. They need to come overcome mental blocks, fears, doubts, insecurities, and that's a lot of what the coaching process is about. So
That
does that
makes
seem like that would be practical to, like, refer them out for that piece of it, and then I just take the results that they got and help them place their lifestyle and place their habits in alignment?
Yeah, I don't see why not. 'Cause I mean, as well, like if you're sending them to like an expert, and then it doesn't, especially if someone's kind of dubious or like isn't 100% sure whether they should trust you. If you send them to an expert, and then it's like, cool, well, like this is what we found.
Yeah, exactly.
Chelsea's now going to help you implement what you need to fix it. Like, I'd be more trusting of that than someone just saying like, oh, well, you should trust me because of this. So,
No, they
uh,
trust me. They automatically trust me, but I just know that I can't articulate or define things nearly as well as, the people that I
yeah,
originally learned from, and they're now doing this cellular health program, like testing, and um, I mean, I don't think I would lose clients because they would be getting coaching from that potentially, but I could apply the coaching more to the psychological and the daily routines and the mindset to help them apply the information that they got. So I think as long as they paid for the coaching package up front, then they're still going to want to work with me because I'm really good at like the emotional support and that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. If they pay for you up front and then that's part of your process, like to send them to an expert and then you coach them through it, then I yeah, it's there's
Yes,
more.
you nailed it. I'll have more credibility because they're getting their information from doctors and from a doctor's team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100. Like your part of your process is that the first step we take is we send you to an expert or a doctor, and then once we get the diagnosis or however it's kind of phrased, I then work with you to implement what's needed to get you to XYZ point.
Right. Yeah, because the testing, it's only like $140 and you get a lot of information about your body systems and your cellular health, and you actually get like a consultation and everything. So it's a great deal. It's a great offer. Really good insight. All I would have to do is explain to them why this is the best route to take and why they need they and get them to understand why they must do this. Like I feel like a lot of people are so tied up into chasing money all the time that they don't take their health as seriously. But if I knew how to target the market of people who've already accomplished their financial goals and now they're looking for the next level in their life, that would actually make sense. I think for working with people, but since I'm not on any social media platforms, there's like a lot of other really expert people that are already doing that on social media,
Mhm.
so um, I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly how I would go about finding those ideal clients.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go back to social media. There's probably a chance there's a lot of people that you could help actually on school itself, like the way it's growing with like the ad boost feature as well, where it'll promote it for you. So I think what I would do first is kind of like write out like everything that you think you could offer, who you want to target, how you can help them, package the offer together first, and then once you kind of have the offer mapped out, that will then help you with your targeting, who to approach, etc. And then you probably get some people coming to you as well. Um, yeah, that's where I would start, and then I mean, if we can then hop on like another call and then go through how I would then probably take that to market. But I think the key thing for you first is just putting everything into an offer that you can kind of clearly explain to people.
Well, I
Um,
do have like 3 or 4 offers, but I'm not as very good at articulating them. So
yeah,
I
I
have like the life transformation package. I have the um, overweight to feeling great package. I've got a overcoming procrastination. I've got a few different things like that, and I think the anti-aging would be another package offer, but um, it's like learning how to articulate that, which we've gone through some really main key steps just today that how I can go about doing that. But you're saying just follow through on those steps?
Yeah, I think so. And I think as well with like a lot of the stuff you've got, like if you could perhaps lead with like one primary offer and then the other stuff you can help with, they could be upgrades or something in the community or add-ons or however you want to do it. But I think just to make things easier for you, reason I'm saying this is that we'd had it before when we started our businesses that we were trying to sell three different things and
Yeah.
you then become confused as to what you're selling
Yeah.
because
It's
of
a
different things.
crazy amount of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd probably focus with one, and then you could potentially look at, like, an upsell for the other stuff or introducing that stuff later on, but once you kinda crack one, it'll become easier to then introduce the other stuff too.
I feel like the anti-aging would be a good appeal to the right kind of clients, and then their health
Yeah.
issues are gonna naturally come up. And then I'm gonna say, well, this specific, clinical research study says this essential oil can be beneficial in these ways. It's not my words. I can just give them that. information and allow them to like go out and get their own essential oils, which
You
would
could you could maybe position that as like a natural upsell though. If like the anti-aging thing promotes something of like, all right, I now know this. How do I then fix it? Cool. Now that you know this, we have this package where I help you with the essential oils. This is what you need. Here's the guidance. So you could have that as like the next step of your process is like, cool.
yeah.
First of all, we go through this, then we do this, then we do that.
Yeah, so when you're if you were selling like an anti-aging coaching thing, would you mention, from what I understand, you don't need to mention the mechanisms of how your thing works. You need to mention the effects of it.
Yeah, the
Like if
outcomes. Yeah.
you're on a sales call, would you be selling the effects or the outcome, not the mechanism, right?
Yeah, 100%, because what can happen if you sell the mechanism is you can actually just confuse people, and the end
Yeah,
of the day, like, they don't particularly care about the mechanism, they just wanna get the end result. If you could, for example, like in terms of your process you have, depending on the number of things you have to do, be like, cool, I've got a 5 step process that we'll go through and we'll cover XYZ. And then that will mean that we'll get to this goal in this time frame. But in terms of like getting into like the going too in depth, I would literally just state it so they're aware of like what's involved for them, what they need to do. But then focus primarily on like, cool, in this time frame, this will mean this. This is the result you'll get. And then
right.
if you want more hands-on or in-depth or however you want to be in terms of this, we also have this package as well. But again, probably don't need that for the time being. Let's just focus on this first, and then that is literally it. Like first part of the call, just understand what their problem is, what they're looking to fix. Second part, take them through your process and the outcome they will get. And then final part, they'll any sort of objections, any questions they might have, address those, close, and
So
then like
what
that.
kind of objections would you expect to hear? Like, for example, if I was saying, I've created a biohacking routine that is proven to, improve your cellular health in such a way that it's the markers of that can be measured. You can be like 20 years younger and that can
Yeah.
be measured, and here's some of the effects of that. And you're talking to someone and they're like, "Yeah, I'm interested in that. So tell me more," or like what kind of objections do you think they might have?
The biggest one that kind of springs to mind would literally just be like, why would this work for me? Um, because it's like, oh, it's great that it worked for you, but how do I know this would work for me? But the way you can get around that is if you, well, one, have some social proof, but if you don't, it's not really a problem. I would just have some form of guarantee that if you don't achieve XYZ by this time frame, I'll give you your money back or I'll work with you for free until you do or something like that. Because all you're
Oh,
doing then is eliminating any risk for them actually just giving you some money. Because what if they got to lose? They either get better health or they get their money back.
right. Yeah, okay. That definitely seems realistic. So if I can present like clinical evidence, like maybe studies and proof, social proof that's worked on various people, just so they know, kind of like inform them about that.
Yeah.
And the other part would be, I'm thinking like they're probably going to want to know, most people might want to know like why the price is going to be like, say, 4 or 5, $6,000. Like they're probably going to need some amount of justification for that. I mean, most people don't just throw around money like that. They need to feel pretty sure, pretty secure that they're going to get what they're paying for.
The thing with this though, just speaking from my own experience, is that Harrison and I, so the guy that I do this with, we kind of assumed at the start that people wouldn't pay us like $6,000 for our outbound services, and then we'd tell people the price, and they'd be like, "Okay, cool." So the thing with price objections, until you actually get them, I would just sort of act as normal, and then if you do start getting price objections, "Oh, I don't know about this or that," that would purely tie back to the fact that they don't see either they don't think it will work, or they don't think there's enough value to warrant that price. But
Exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about the price objections until you get them.
Okay. Just focus on why it will work for them. And what was the second thing you mentioned?
Mechanism and then just the outcome. But the thing I would focus on first of all is
But no, you just said, like, the price objections was the 2 questions they might have is
Oh,
why
okay.
it would work for
They
them
don't know if
and then
it's worth it, or they don't know, they haven't seen enough value to kind of warrant it, or they don't think it will work. They would be the 2.
like, trusting the person who's selling it and whether it would work for them.
Yeah, pretty much like a lot you'll get like a lot of skeptical buyers, I would imagine. So it would just be the only thing I could imagine. But again, it's hard to say without someone saying it is like, I don't know if it's worth what you're charging, or I don't know if it will work for me. There would be the 2 things I would probably imagine would be the problem. But that's kind of like a cross that bridge when you get to it.
But you said focus on why it will work for them and focus on,
Oh,
um
I'd first of all focus on, like, understanding, like, why you having the conversation with them in the first place, like, what is it that they want? And then align what they want with how you could help them,
yeah,
and take it that way. Because the one of the biggest mistakes people make, especially in sales, is kind of just assuming what people want.
right.
Um so understand what they want, align what they want with, if you can help with that, great. If you can't, obviously no problem. But align what problem they have and what outcome they want with the outcome you deliver, and show to them how you would help them get to that point.
Right. I
Um,
got all that part, but I know you mentioned, like, there's only 2 reasons that people doubt the price, and one was if it would work for me, and the other one was what
they
again?
don't think that the price warrants the value they would get.
Oh, and so you said to focus on explaining why why it's worth that much, or just mainly what you're just saying about about how it addresses exactly what they specifically want.
The latter. So if you can address like how you would fix their problem, and they say, "Oh, I
Okay.
don't think it's worth that," you then can then sort of say, "Oh, well,
I got you. Yeah. So, like, they're saying, I'm tired of my joints aching and I'm tired of feeling tired and exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, that definitely interferes with your ability to function through the day. So therefore, how much would it be worth it to you to not have that problem anymore? Like, does that seem like a realistic response to that type of objection?
yeah, I thought that was really good." Yeah, because I mean, if for example someone's got like, yeah, like you say, like really, really bad joint pain, like it's
Yeah.
like some people would pay anything to make that stop. So if you can say to them, if you fully understand what the problem is, you relay it to them, you get to that point like, "Oh, I don't think it's worth it." It's like, cool, but I mean, how much would you pay then to solve this problem?
So
And
that's
then
a fair question.
yeah, yeah, like no products. I mean, if someone who has this kind of problem as well is kind of shopping around on price, I would find that slightly unusual, because at the end of the day, do you want the problem solved or not? Like, it's not like you're buying software, for example.
Yeah, it's so true. And so all they would have to do is know that or believe that it would solve their problem
Yeah,
because
100%.
people
And
will pay $3,000 a month to get immune suppression drugs that actually, like, prevent the immune system from attacking the soft tissues, thus reducing the pain. But the problem with that is it does nothing about the underlying cause and it's harming the immune system. So it's
yeah,
actually contributing to the overall problem. Whereas the approach that I would take would be to reduce the inflammation, improve the healing, and eliminate the triggers that are causing the inflammation and pain, so that you don't have the problem in the first place.
yeah,
That's what I did. I used to have arthritis in every single joint in my body, and I'm talking every joint, like every little finger, every little my feet, like my knees, my shoulders, my neck, my back, everything, constant pain, 24 hours a day. And the relief oil that I blend that I created in my Divine Essentials brand on my website, that is the thing that massively changed my life because when you're able to quickly eliminate pain in a non-addictive way, in a healthy way that doesn't harm your body, you're taking back your power and your freedom and you're taking a load off of your nervous system, which means you have more energy to go out and live your life and you have more freedom to choose how you live your life rather than being a hostage to your pain and to feeling like weak and tired and stuck at home. I was housebound for many years because of that. And when I discovered this formula and tried it, I was shocked beyond belief. It still surprises me now, like 5, 6 years later, how well it actually works and how much it improves my overall mood and energy because, I lift, so, like, I don't know, you can't see very much right there, but I lift, and lifting puts a strain on your joints.
Mhm.
And so that the relief in the tendonitis take the pain out of that, restore flexibility, so you have the freedom to actually exercise or take a walk or play with your grandkids. And that's
So
to me is the selling point,
I
but I
would sell
can't
that.
make direct claims like, without taking a legal risk on things. So
Yeah, well, I mean, would you take a legal risk for saying, like, treat the underlying cause as opposed to the symptoms? Because I mean, when you said that and, like, then you're essentially just talking from your own experience, like, that's what I'd be selling.
that's so
Like
true.
you were housebound, you had all these problems, and then, like, I wanna help more people who were in the situation that I was in by doing X, Y.
Right.
That's what I would be selling.
Okay, that makes so much sense. I wanna help more people who were in the situation I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Um,
like using this process that I've designed or formula or however you want to package it, um, this is what you can expect in this time frame, and like I'll take you through. But I mean, you are the living proof essentially of what you're selling works. So I would basically think about your lived experience and then sell that to people as to you were here, now you're there. The reason that you were there and now here is because of this process.
right? It's very, very true, yes. I think that's mainly what draws people to me as a coach is because I did live through it. I understand the pain. I understand the worst part of a chronic illness is the sense of hopelessness that these so-called professionals try to sell you. They try to sell you the idea that there's no hope. You're screwed. Like just deal with it. Like, and that's such a disempowering belief system to be. It's like a cage. It's a,
Yeah.
you're this big and the cage is this small, and they want you to fit into that cage and just accept it.
I would
And
sell to that feeling though, because I mean, I would imagine people in that situation would be sat there feeling like helpless, or like they're kind of giving up hope because they keep getting told.
yes,
And
that's
and
it.
and by speaking with you, for example, who someone who was in that situation now isn't, what have they got to lose?
Say again?
So if you're speaking to people who are in the situation that you were in, who've been told that you can't do this or like we can't cure it or whatever it might be, what have they got to lose by speaking with you and working with you? Nothing really, because like they're either exactly where they were anyway or they fix the problem.
That's so true. It's so, so, so true. You're phenomenal. You're really good at pinpointing people's motives and their needs and then like creating some form of communicating that. Like I'm amazed at how good you are at perceiving that stuff because what you just said is exactly right. I mean, there's so many people that have Lyme disease. Lyme was one of the diseases that I had untreated Lyme and Babesia for like 30 years or something. And
Yeah.
it's exactly comes down to what you just said, that hopelessness. And that's the main thing that I'm here to break. I'm here to break that chain.
Yeah, so I guess if like people, for example, are seeing you and they're like, wow, like she was in this situation, now she goes to the gym, like she looks amazing, like all these different things. Like it's like, for example, like a personal trainer at the gym. Like you don't want to go to a PT who's not in really good shape, do you? You look for
Yeah,
the
for
person
sure.
you want to be. So like you're
Yeah,
selling your image essentially. Like, look, like I was in this situation, now I'm here. I can help you get to here. This is how we do it with my process. Like that is the
so
offer
I
that
should
I
be wearing a tank top when I do
yeah.
my sales call
Yeah.
instead of something like a blazer and a beautiful professional thing. I should probably be wearing a tank top, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, when I was in your situation.
Well, that exactly, but I think that is what people are buying, like, they're buying the outcome, like, you are the outcome of what you're selling. Like, that is so you just need to essentially think from those people's perspective who, for example, maybe wheelchair bound, maybe have all these problems and they can't fix it. God, like, I'd love to be like Chelsea who had this problem, she cured it. How do I get there? I wanna work with her. You just need to fill in the gaps to that point.
Right. Yes, you're so right. I'm so glad that we had a chance to go over these, creating some structure with my offer and the way I talk to people, because sometimes I just get lost in all the emotion behind it, and I forget how to speak about it. Like, one of the things that also happened is I was poisoned by fluoroquinolones, which is disabled millions of healthy Americans. It destroys like the neural synapses in the brain,
Okay.
and it like causes tendon ruptures. So I had all of that. It's
Jesus.
actually worse than, I mean, it's really bad. So I'm still trying to learn how to communicate and articulate my thoughts clearly. But I think you created a really good, like, kind of a template that I can go through to create my offer a little bit better and know what kind of objections I need to address.
Yeah,
And
I think what we should do next is I did a post earlier, so you can book in a one-to-one with me. So if you book it in for some point next week, I'm out tomorrow on Monday, but if you book it in some point next week, once you've had a chance to kind of look over your offer, we can then actually just have a look at it and see what it sounds like once you've kind of packaged it, and then see what we would tweak. But I mean, yeah, in terms of your situation, it's kind of ideal, really, because like the thing that you're selling, like you are the living proof that it works. Where with some
yeah.
people, for example, they're selling something that like they have no social proof it works. So why would
Mhm.
people trust you? Where in your situation, why would I trust you? Well, because I've done it.
Yeah. Well, and plus, like, some of the testimonials also, like, they also articulate that pretty well. So that's a little bit of social proof, that can help people, I feel, because like, when you go on my website, there's, like, a testimonials page and comments that people have made, and, both with
Okay.
the coaching, like, the coaching stuff is on the testimonials page, and then the essential oil testimonials, like, when you click on the product, it's not a very good website at all, but it is what it is, and that's something I have that can be used. But as far as looking over my offer, are you talking about an offer that I would present during a sales call, or are you talking about, like, a sales page, or what do you mean by my offer?
Something
Like,
you present during your sales call, just
uh-huh,
so that you can kind of articulate it in a way that's just easier for you. But I mean, in terms of like your school community and stuff as well. Like I don't see why you wouldn't really focus on like what exactly it is that you've done, because I mean I know you said you can help with all these different things, but again the way that I'm kind of seeing it as like a third party, these are all like components of like one wider process that you have for people. So
right.
if you can, for example, package your community, your offer, everything into a way where it's like, I was here, I'm now there. These are the feelings that I felt during this time. I was told that I would never be able to cure this. Now I'm this age, I go to the gym, I do this, I get hit on by 25-year-olds, all this kind of stuff. Um,
25-year-olds who wanna hook up.
yeah, exactly. And you can say like, look, like there's no this is possible for you as well.
That
If you
probably
follow
would not be a good thing to be mentioning. Older women are gonna get extremely offended by that, believe me. They're
hey,
like,
if they do your process, then they might have the same.
"What's that?" Yeah.
If
Oh
you
my
follow
gosh,
your process.
that is hilarious. Oh my gosh, I don't know. That's so funny. I don't know, I would think it would offend people to hear something like that,
But you get the idea, right? It's like saying, I was here, I'm now there. You've probably been told these things, you're feeling hopeless. I can help you
right?
get to that point.
Right, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so then I do have 2 particular, offers that I put in posts in my school community.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if that would be useful, like, to look at, they're not health related offers, they're more like, overcoming addictive impulses, addictive behavior, and, what was the other one? I can't remember, but, do you think, like, taking that post and, like, maybe putting the link in there so you could look at it would be
Yeah, yeah. If you do like a post in the community, I'll do an offer review for you. I'll do a video. I've done a few before. I'll just have a look at everything, what it looks like, and give you some feedback as to kind of what I would do with it. But yeah, I think that'd be useful.
so, like, would I have to would it be okay to post the link to that to that offer that goes to my school community? Because I think you have to be a member of my school community to open that up. I think you would actually have to join.
If you could just do like a screenshot of it, and just chuck that on a post or a couple screenshots just so I can
Or, like,
see what.
copy and paste and then put it in the comments?
Yeah, yeah, if you just say like, "Please can you review my offer," copy and paste it, like the post in, I'll have a look at that and I'll give you some feedback.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds really good. Because I did get people that were actually interested in buying from me, like, when I did those couple of offers, and then when it came to me actually saying, "Well, this is the price and who's gonna join?" I was just like, "Well, so if you're interested, you can join this." And I never actually asked anybody, like, "Who's gonna join?" And I
Yeah,
didn't actually, like, jump on the sale part of it. I just totally lost my I don't know, people were crying, like, I had a live call, and one girl was crying saying, "You've helped me so much, like, I'm so grateful that I came here today because I was in a bad s space." The other girl well, one girl said woman said that, and the other woman started crying, talking about how I helped her, and I kinda freaked out, like, I should have somehow been able to transition that moment over into, "So are you ready to go to the next level and buy this coaching package or whatever? Sign up for this." You shouldn't call it a coaching package. "Are you ready to sign up for this transformation now?" Like, I didn't know how to say that to them. And,
I mean,
like,
what you can do is just to make it easier for you is if you had like a slide, you could say, like, look, like I've helped all these people and now I want to help even more people with more one-to-one or something like that with this transformation. You can sign up now for this. But for those people, like you said, that were crying and stuff, like I'd try to just drop them a DM, but like, look, like I've helped you like this much so far. I can help you even more if you're interested in this. Uh, so you've got a few options, but I mean, just in from what I've seen people do really well on webinars, and stuff like that is like at the end of the call, just be like, look, like I also have this offer that's now available. If you're on the call, you'll get a special bonus for being on here. Kind of join now. I know a guy that we know, he did one, I think this week, maybe Tuesday or last week, and he had 9 people join up on the webinar. And similar thing, like kind of just talk through what he does, how he helps, his process. At the end was like, cool, I'm offering this. Do you want to do it? And people were just signing up without him having to do anything.
so that's the reason why you have these live calls so people can practice actually doing their pitch and get accustomed to saying it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, in terms of sales, like Harris and I both worked in sales for over kind of 10 years. And
Oh,
like when you're selling and it's just like watching videos or like reading scripts and stuff, you're not really going to get better at sales doing that. So the premise of these really is for like people to jump on like, oh, I had this call, I'm not sure how to say this, or I had this objection. We can then kind of discuss it with you, and then next time you go to the next call and it comes up, you're like, ah, right, I now know how to kind of handle that.
don't you guys have, like, practice session calls too where people practice their pitch or something like that?
Yeah, so we have those. Let me just put up the calendar. When we have daily calls, so I mean, it just depends. Like if people join or not, we can kind of use it however we want. Yeah, like normally today, Tuesdays as well. People can jump on. We can do some role plays. So it's completely up to what people want in the community, really.
Okay, so then I think what I'm gonna do is try to get my offer, like the sales call part of it, start working on being able to deliver that a little more so that I could practice,
Yeah.
because I kind of lose my confidence, I feel, um, when I'm presenting my offer or whatever. I don't know, it's like I used to have no issue about accepting money for this because I knew that obviously it's worth it, but
I mean, it's like you have to. It's not like you're kind of like tricking people. Like you're getting paid to help
I
people
just need
solve.
to practice, probably should
Yeah.
practice on a video camera and in front of the mirror, and then one of these times when we have a live call, I'll try to present that,
Yeah.
sales
100%.
call thing and see then you'll be able to kind of pick out but then if you practice it in the mirror, you're not talking to a real person, but it's still better than nothing, so, yeah.
You could just try to explain to like a friend or a family member or something like that, like your offer, and see if they understand it first. And then
Right,
I
okay.
often ask my dad certain stuff to see if because he's sort of like from a works in like a different sort of field to what we do. So if
Uh-huh.
we're kind of pitching this offer to people and he doesn't understand it, well, why would they understand it? So it's just I'd ask people who perhaps don't know you that well or like they don't know what the ins and out of it are, and if you're saying it to them and they don't get it, like, right, okay, cool. Let's go back and tweak it until like it's easier for it should just be like very simple for you to be able to say it in a few sentences and someone's like, cool, I know what that
Yeah,
is.
okay, alright, that sounds like a good amount of homework assignment, and I'm assuming that you probably have some information in your classroom about that as well.
Yeah, 100%. We have like a module on like building your offer and stuff. So have a look through that as well. But yeah, if you have any question or anything, just chuck a post in the community and we'll come back to you on it.
Amazing. You are honestly the best person that I've been able to talk to about this so far in however many years because you're actually like live, you're aware of the whole sales process and how to help people, but you're also able to talk to me specifically. So that has been really, really good. Um, Giving me these points on how to go from where I am to where I need to be in the process. And I'm really excited. I think I'm going to I kind of am getting out of some of the other communities and I'm just going to focus more in this one because some of these communities will just drag you on for months and months and you're not going to get any real tangible results and I need to be getting tangible results now so that I can cover the costs, of running a business and having a life and yeah, not just get lost in building a community. Like, what's the point of building a community if you can't sell the package? It just seems
I agree.
ridiculous
Yeah.
because I'm just
That's
giving away my time and my money to people, and that's good to a point. But like at some point, I need to have this. This is a really essential skill to have because if the people who need my help or your help don't get the message, then they're going to suffer, and I would not be getting the returns on my work that I should be getting either. So it's really good. I'm really glad that I showed up today and thank you very, very much for your time and your effort to help me go through this because it's kind of scary a little bit for me just to I don't know why I'm having some fear around selling.
it is
Maybe some
scary.
self-doubt,
Yeah.
but
It's scary because it's you've got, like, the chance that someone will reject you, but the thing with it is, like, the more you kinda practice it, like, the less you actually care about that, because especially in
yeah,
your situation, like, you're generally wanting to help people, you're not just trying to make money,
right.
and it's kind of just, like, relearning in your mind, like, I'm not, like, tricking people for their money, I'm providing a
Not at
service
all.
to benefit
No,
their
I'm
life.
clear about that part. I
Yeah,
think I'm like I care too much. Like, I'm way more motivated about helping people than I am about getting the money. So, it's kind of an out of balance thing because obviously if I'm gonna help people, I need to be able to sustain that, and
yeah,
so it's I think a lot of what I wrote down about what you were telling me, it's gonna create a level of confidence so that it's not so hard for me to speak about what things.
yeah,
Because even though other people might see me and say, "Oh, you're amazing, you did all that. Oh my god, wow." I look at myself and I think, "Oh, well, I don't always give myself the credit." I've realized that just recently, like, I owned an art gallery for over 20 years. I did really well. I put the bread and butter on families' tables, okay, of
yeah,
local artists in my community who made their living by being able to sell through my gallery. I was really good at it. I knew how to sell. I supported my community and I got awards. And I'm walking through this arts festival the other day and I'm saying, "Well, how come this photo why is the color of the mountains just off and everything's like spot on?" And he was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. I was wondering why people weren't buying as much of this photo." And then he goes on to say, "I really appreciate getting that from a credible source." And even though I had a successful art gallery over 20 years, I never gave myself the um the validation of the fact that I am a credible source. Like,
Yeah.
I have some type of issue about validating my own, um, contribution or worth or something, and this, I believe, if I go through all this process, it's gonna build that confidence so that I don't feel, so insecure. Like, when people really, really know that they want and love what I have to offer, I will give them everything, you know? But if people aren't sure, I'm like, "Well, you're welcome to leave." Like, "If this isn't for you, I'm good. I don't want to spend my time." And that's not the right attitude. I should be confident enough to be able to speak to them and speak to their specific doubts or their specific questions, and knowing, like, giving myself that validation that, yes, I do have years of training and I do have experience and I do have clinical studies, so why am I doubting myself? Like, I don't know. I just need to realize, like, okay, I'm worth being paid again, and get on the ball, make it happen, and hopefully be able to give you guys really good testimonials for what you're doing, because I need that. Like,
No, 100%. We'll get you there. But I mean, yeah, I think key now really is I would just focus on packaging the offer. If you book in the
yeah,
one-to-one, we can catch up next week. And
okay.
yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you again, and I really am grateful for everything. So I'm gonna just go ahead and make a commitment to get this done within the next week. Even though it's beautiful summer weather out there, somehow I'm gonna be able to at least get something put together that we can review, and then, yeah, you can let me know. I guess the only other question I wanted to ask was, do you think I should only focus on one specific offer, like, or should I still leave it open? Like, I can help people overcome procrastination, I can help them lose weight, I can help them do total life transformation. Do you think I should just, like, leave those open and just but work on one particular offer and kind of master that one thing first?
I would focus on one offer because there's no reason to not have all of those things as kind of like features, if that makes sense. So
Okay,
I would have like the opening offer as to like I help people transform from this to this in this time frame and that kind of thing, and then say like includes as part of this, we'll look at this, this, and this. I think if you try to help too many people, even though you have the skill set to do it, it'll just make it harder for you to sell because
absolutely,
how can
and
you
harder to
explain.
sell.
Yeah, so I just try to keep it as simple as possible, focus with the things that you wanna focus on, and then, we can have a look at it, and then we can just see if there's any tweaks that I would make to it.
So if I was to ask you from your experience in the market, do you think, focusing on an anti-aging type of coaching thing would be appealing to more people, or do you think losing weight and getting fit would be more appealing? Because I feel like there's a lot more people in the weight loss arena, but I don't know. What do you feel like would be, um, a better thing to focus on between those two?
I would probably sell the thing that I would probably sell the thing like, for example, if I was using myself as, like, the social proof, I would sell the thing that I would be most confident delivering for that I've done for myself. So out of those, I would just pick the
Okay.
one that is your preference,
All right.
and then, from that point, it's you're kind of then just working backwards through the steps that you took to get to where you are now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That will make it a lot more simple because I feel like you're right. That way I can get good at that. And then if I wanted to kind of do the other one as either an add on or a separate package, then I can do that after the first one is kind of like straight and settled.
Yeah,
So
you're basically just using this one to open the door, and then if you wanna sell other stuff after, that's fine. This is just getting
that
your foot
makes
in the
a
door
lot of
and go from
sense.
there.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Have a lovely day. We'll speak soon.
All right. You too. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.